Assalamualaikum to our panelists. We are going to present our research with title of The Acceptance of K-pop Culture among UiTM Seremban 3 students, and I am Nur Atiqah binti Umar Haris with metric number 2018287494.
And I am Nur Wadiah binti Nasri. Metric number is 2018441196. Now, we are going to start our Viva presentation. Firstly, this is the research background for our research. The Korean Wave or Hallyu refer to a South Korea culture economy's global popularity exporting pop culture such as art, music, and many more. South Korea is one of the only countries in the world that has a dedicated goal to become a world-leading exporter of popular culture. Some of the factors that can be shown why K-pop is different from other is because of their music video that is mostly catches the youth attention. This research is focusing on UiTM Seremban 3 students since nowadays K-pop culture has been widespread in Malaysia and K-pop is undeniably popular among the students. Therefore, the main aim of this study was to examine the acceptance of the K-pop culture among UiTM Seremban 3 students.
As for the problem statements, first, according to Prince 2015, Korean pop culture affected the originality of life in the country where K-pop changed the way of thinking of youth, and it has been dominating the whole youth in the world because of their entertainment and lifestyle. Next, according to similar 2017, Korean pop culture also led to bad spending habit and the fall academic achievement in Malaysian youth, as they would only be focusing on watching their K-pop idol shows, K-dramas, and many more. And lastly, according to Zhao 2019, K-pop also leads students to spending money on the unnecessary things such as the Korean idol merchandise, concert tickets, buying online Korean applications, and many more rather than buying their exercise book, textbooks, which are more important for their studies.
In this slide, it shows the research question and research objective. As you can see from the slide, we have 5 research objectives. The first objective is to identify the relationship between peer pressure towards the acceptance of the K-pop culture among UiTM Seremban 3 students. The second objective is to investigate the differences among gender towards the acceptance of K-pop culture among UiTM Seremban 3 students. Next is to identify the relationship of hedonistic effects on the acceptance of the K-pop culture among UiTM Seremban 3 students. The fourth is to identify the relationship between social media influence towards acceptance of the K-pop culture among UiTM Seremban 3 students. And lastly, to identify the most important factor that affect the acceptance of K-pop culture among UiTM Seremban 3 students. For the research question, it is the reflections of the research objective.
In the conceptual framework slide, the figures show the independent variable and dependent variable. As for the independent variable, it has 3 variables, which is peer pressure, hedonistic effect, and social media, while the acceptance of K-pop culture among UiTM Seremban 3 students is the dependent variable.
In this slide, it shows the hypothesis for every independent variables. First independent variable is peer pressure. The HO1 shows there is no positive relationship, while on the HA1 shows there is positive relationship between peer pressure influence on the acceptance of K-pop culture among UiTM Seremban 3 students. Next independent variable is hedonistic effect. The HO2 shows there is no positive relationship between hedonistic effect, while HA2 shows there is positive relationship between hedonistic effects on the acceptance of the K-pop culture among UiTM Seremban 3 students. Lastly is the social media. The HO3 shows there is no positive relationship between social media influence, while the HA3 shows there is positive relationship between social media influence towards the acceptance of the K-pop culture among UiTM Seremban 3 students.
method, they are research design, where we are using the quantitative data, and also the information is gathered by the primary data, which will be collected from questionnaire. And the sample size is 357 respondents, which is derived from the overall populations of students, which is 5,000 in UiTM Seremban 3 Negeri 9. And the unit of analysis, there are 301 students of UiTM Seremban 3, and we are conducting the research through convenience sampling method, since we are using Google Form link to distribute or spread the questionnaire in any social media platform, and students who are studying in the UiTM Seremban 3 can participate in answering the questionnaire. As for the data measurement, we are using the Likert scale, which is for 1, it is strongly disagree, 2, disagree, 3, neutral, 4, agree, and 5 for strongly agree. As for the data collection, we have 5 sections in the questionnaire, which is section A, demographic data of the respondent, section B, peer pressure, section C, hedonistic effect, section D, social media, and section E is acceptance of K-pop culture. And as for the data analysis, first we are using the Pearson correlation and also regressions.
For this slide, based on this table, we received 301 responses from UiTM Seremban 3 students. The first demographic is gender, which is male and female. The majority of the respondent is female, 73.4%. Next is education level. We divided it into 2, which is diploma and degree. The majority of the respondent is degree, 64.5%.
For the third point, which is 8, is divided into 2, which is 21 years old and below and 22 years old and above. The majority is student who is 22 years old and above with percentage of 71.8%. As for the CGPA, it is divided into 3, which is 3.00 and below, 3.00 until 3.49, and 3.5 and above. The majority is those students with CGPA of 3.00 until 3.49 with percentage of 57.8%. Lastly, for the residential area, it is divided into 2, which is urban area and rural area. The majority is those students who live in urban area with percentage of 70.8%.
In this hypothesis testing, we focus on these 4 objectives. As for the first independent variable, which is peer pressure, we are using Pearson correlation, and since Pearson correlation is equal to 0.491, while the significance is equal to 0.000, it can be concluded that HA1 is accepted and HO1 is rejected. Next is hedonistic effect. On the hedonistic effect, we are using Pearson correlation, and since Pearson correlation is 0.523, while the significance is equal to 0.000, it can be concluded that the HA2 is accepted and the HO2 is rejected. As for the third independent variable, which is social media, we are using Pearson correlation, and the Pearson correlation is equal to 0.750, while the significance is equal to 0.000. It can be concluded that the HA3 is accepted and the HO3 is rejected. Lastly is the most important factor that affect the acceptance of the K-pop culture. For this, we are using multiple regression, and the independent variable 1 shows 0.147, while the IV2 is negative 0.045 and the IV3 is 0.701. By based on the beta value, it shows that the social media is the main factors of the acceptance of the K-pop culture among UiTM Seremban 3 students.
As for the research recommendations, first is by promoting Malaysian-Korean exchange program among students. A students' exchange program in Korea could provide students with a way to visit South Korea, learn the language, and immerse themselves in the culture while having support in the country as well. Every student's and experience is different, so studying the different program and deciding which is the best fit for them could be the best. This can help students both at the college and beyond of their future. As for the second point, which is held a cultural exhibitions, exhibitions serve as a source of art and ideas for the public as they provide a way to view and contextualize art that makes it meaningful and available to contemporary audience. Every student should have their own opportunity to join and participate in such program in order to gain knowledge about cultural and to differentiate every country culture. This kind of cultural exhibition is actually will give a great impact to students as they can use the knowledge that they gain for their own benefit in future.
This is the limitation of study and future recommendations. The first one is a common method variance. Since our research is a one-time exposure and an outcome study, obtaining causal relationships from cross-sectional analysis is challenging. The cross-sectional studies are naturally clear and enable to analyze a considerable number of variables. Furthermore, these studies are subject to other prejudice. As a suggestion, the researcher will apply longitudinal study as a guideline in the future study. A longitudinal research is the data that is obtained for the same subjects at the beginning points as well as the end point. Next is a quantitative study, which is lack of in-depth findings. This research used the quantitative sample in which the survey did not collect the data in detail. The limitation from this research was the findings would not always be generally representative of the actual occurring. The respondents will therefore have a limited number of choices to reply based on the researcher questionnaire. In order to improve the research study for the future researcher, it can be done by the researcher should concentrate more on the accuracy of the data to be collected for the study. This is to prevent any errors in the analysis in the handling the data.
In conclusion, through this research, the researcher have gained their knowledge on the relationship between the independent variable and dependent variable. It was proven that all independent variables, which include peer pressure, heterotic effect, and social media, were connected to the dependent variable, which is the acceptance of K-pop culture among UiTM Seremban 3 students by using the Pearson correlation method. Besides that, it is also shows that all the objective has been successfully achieved. That is why the summary finding has been conducted to conclude the hypothesis statement for each objective.